Okay, what's going on, guys? Should be live now. Here to break down the four-game NBA slate. We got a decent amount of news to go over. Hope you guys had a good night last night. The core was really solid. Had a lot of people get close to winning GPPs. I had a pretty solid night. Didn't play huge, but I cashed in my tournaments. So let's see if we can keep it going here. Again, 4 games. This is a really interesting slate. Kind of talked about it in my video, but there's just so many different ways you can go. I think Stars and Scrubs is going to be a little bit more popular today, but I still really like the mid-tier too. Talk about both approaches, but let's just jump into it. PJ Washington, questionable. I believe he just got ruled more towards on the probable side, so that's pretty big news. Kind of takes Miles Bridges out of play for me if PJ Washington is able to go. Definitely hurts Hernan Gomez minutes on those secondary Charlotte pieces. Let's see. A lot of this news is for Friday, so bear with me. Pat Connaughton available to play. He's a viable punt option if you're going Stars and Scrubs. Let's see. Again, a lot of this stuff is Wednesday. Again, Russell Westbrook ruled out. We kind of expected that. They're starting Ben McLemore. He's 3.4K. He's in that tier of really cheap guys we can definitely take shots on. Let's see. Rockets are starting Harden, Gordon, McLemore, House, and Tucker. Kind of like we expected that, they're going to start Tucker at the 5. Now, I did see news by the Rockets beat writer that either Hardenstein or Chris Clemens are going to be dusted off. One of them is going to be in the rotation. So, sure, you could try and take a dart throw on Hardenstein at min price and hope he gets like 15 to 20 minutes. Again, PJ Washington more on the probable side. The big news that just came out right now is Jeremy Grant is questionable. That is like slate-changing news because if he's out and Jamal Murray's out, I don't know what they're going to do with the starting lineup. I think Torrey Craig gets more minutes. I think Hernan Gomez maybe starts at the 4. They really don't have a whole lot of options. So obviously, Jokic and Will Barton are certainly viable. So we got to keep an eye on that news. Hopefully we get that somewhat soon because that is pretty big news with the status of Jeremy Grant. He was playing huge minutes, so Pelicans starters, Ball, Holiday, Ingram, Zion, and Favors. I really like the Pelicans today. Basically you can make an argument for any of those 5. I just think all of them are a bit underpriced in a 245? 245 over under. The Bucks are playing at a really fast pace. This game is at New Orleans, so it has a better chance of staying close. Bucks are starting Bledsoe, Matthews, Middleton, Giannis, and Lopez, kind of like we expected. So let's look at the numbers real quick, and then we can get to players and their prices. Bucks, Pelicans, 245 over under. Bucks favored by 7.5. Yeah, this one is obviously the most appealing game to target. We got the Hornets and the Rockets sitting at 223. The Rockets are 13-point favorites. Harden is going to be the absolute chalk tonight. If you're playing cash games on these shorter slates, I think you probably play Harden, but I think you can fade him for GPPs. I got a viable pivot off of him is a guy like Giannis, who I think goes a lot lower owned, but I still like his upside. Or you can go really contrarian like me today. I like, on these smaller slates, I get pretty risky. I take shots on I just go way more contrarian than I do on bigger slates because smaller slates have higher variance. So, or like I said, you could go like me and fade both Harden and Giannis, and go all mid tier. That's the way I'm going tonight. I know it's super super contrarian, right? Get the clown paint ready to paint on my face, but as of right now, I'm fading both Harden and Giannis. I would not recommend that for cash games for sure. Like I would definitely play one of those guys in cash if you're playing cash, but I just really like the mid tier. Portland, Denver right now sitting at 226.5. Denver favored by 4, and the Spurs and the Lakers is at 226.5 with the Lakers favored by 11. I'll try and check back here on Fantasy Labs every few minutes to see if we got any updates. Again, the big news there is we're still waiting on Jamal Murray and now Jeremy Grant. So let's get into it. First game, this is the most appealing game in my opinion. I know it's going to be really popular, but I just love a lot in this game. Giannis at the top at 11.4. Now, you can definitely play both Giannis and Harden together. I just don't think Giannis is going to be as high out, right? I think Harden, if I had to guess in cash games, Harden is probably going to be 80% owned, maybe even more. Whereas Giannis, I think, goes 30%, something like that. So I definitely think Harden's probably going to double the ownership for Giannis. Again, you can play both. You're just going to have to take some shots at some cheap guys. There is a pool of guys that are viable, but there's no real standout value play right now, right? Like Last slate, there was, Wanamaker at first I felt good about, but once he didn't end up getting ruled started, I like Teague and Bruce Brown, right? I felt pretty confident about those guys. There's not one play that really stands out as a value play, so there's kind of just a group of guys that I would take shots on. Now, that would change if Jeremy Grant gets ruled out and Jamal Murray gets ruled out, because then I think Malik Beasley gets about 25 or so minutes. They could run more small ball. I think Hernan Gomez would become a really viable punt option. So that's the big news right now is the Denver news. And unfortunately, that is an 8 o'clock game, so we're probably not going to get that. And it sucks because I have a lot of guys in this early game, so not going to leave me a lot of wiggle room to move stuff around if Jeremy Grant gets ruled out. So, but yeah, Giannis at the top again. I don't think he's going to be as high owned as Harden, but this is just 245 over under. You're getting Giannis at a cheap price. You gotta have interest in him at that at 11.4. I also like the guys in the mid range here, Middleton and Bledsoe. Middleton 7.3. If you want to go a little bit more contrarian and fade the high owned guys at the top, you can build a really, really solid mid tier build. Again, that's the way I'm going about this slate. Very contrarian, but I feel pretty good about my lineup right now. Middleton, we're going to get about 35 or so minutes from him in a close game. He's flashed upside even with Giannis playing. 40 and 46 the last couple games. Again, I know I'm repeating myself, but 245 over under. Both teams played a super fast pace. I like Middleton a good amount in the mid-tier, and I also like Bledsoe a good amount. Don't think he's going to be that high owned. No George Hill. He's gotten 31, 31, 32, and 32 minutes. He's been a little bit up and down, but this could be the game where he breaks out, has like a 40, even 50 fantasy point night. So I have a good amount of interest there in Bledsoe as well. Brook Lopez, not really for me at that price. I would just much prefer getting to Bledsoe or Middleton for an extra 1,000 or 2,000. DiVincenzo's okay at 4.2, but Pat Connaughton has been getting some decent run, and DiVincenzo's only played 22 minutes in back-to-back games, which does worry me a little bit. So I think he's a fine value play. I'm not like super excited about that. Ersan at 3.9 with Giannis playing. I just don't think he gets enough minutes unless Giannis gets in foul trouble. Now, Pat Connaughton is in that tier of really cheap guys we can take a shot on. 22, 26, and 20 minutes in 3 straight games. He's not a super high usage guy, but you're getting almost a min-price guy that probably gets 20 minutes in a 245 or under. So he's certainly someone that I am okay with taking a shot on if you're going complete stars and scrubs. Don't think I would go Brown or Korver or Matthews, though. So that basically wraps up for Milwaukee. Let's talk about the Pelicans. The Pelicans I love. I think these guys are going to be somewhat popular. I think the popular build tonight for cash games is going to be Harden and a couple Pelicans. Just the way, I just think that's probably the safest option, I guess. Zion at 7.1 has the minutes have been slowly creeping up for him. He played 33 the last game. Is this the game he finally breaks out and has a smash game, like 40, 50 fancy points? I think it could be. And again, 7.1K, that price dropped $600. So I have a good amount of interest in Zion. I have a good amount of interest in Ingram and Drew, who have both flashed upside with Zion playing. 36 and 49 last couple games for Ingram, whereas Drew had 42, 23 off game, but still 6.9K is really cheap for Drew. I also have a good amount of interest in Lonzo playing big minutes. I don't really think Zion being in that lineup really affects him too much. Again, you could almost make the argument it benefits him. So I like Lonzo a lot at that price. So yeah, really, it's kind of tough to differentiate these guys with Lonzo, Drew, Ingram, Zion. I just have a good amount of interest in all four. I think my favorite would be Zion, but yeah, I think all four of those guys make for really, really good plays in the mid-tier. Favors at 4.9 is a viable, cheaper option. The minutes have been down on him because Zion's playing more minutes. I think we probably get low 20 minutes from him again. And he can have upside in that time for sure. Like Derek Favors is a guy that can get you 30, 35 in that time. So I'm okay with him. Not like super excited, but I get it if you want to go there and save a little bit of money. Josh Hart has been getting more run off the bench. 28, 30 minutes back-to-back games. I think he's a viable, cheap option. And then JJ Redick burned a lot of people that other day. 14 minutes, got in foul trouble, 0 fancy points. I think if he shoots the ball well, though, they could extend him to like mid-20s minutes. So he is in that tier of guys you can take a shot on as far as value goes. Don't think I would go Melly or Etuan Moore. Not seeing enough minutes for me to consider those guys. So that basically wraps it up. I'm very high on those top 4 guys for the Pelicans: Zion, Ingram, Drew, and Lonzo. All 7.1 to 6.7K, a 245 or under. All those guys are going to play 30 plus minutes in a close game. So I like all those guys a lot. Let's move on to Charlotte and Houston. On the Charlotte side, let's first actually check Fantasy Lab, see if we got any more news. Again, trying to keep up with this. Nothing yet. Okay, so the Charlotte side, I think Graham and Rozier are interesting here. 6.8 and 6.4. We know Houston plays at a super, super fast pace, so this is a up-tempo game. If my stuff would load. There we go. So, yeah, I think Graham and Rozier are viable. I just think they're more contrarian. I would personally rather get to the Pelicans guys compared to Graham and Rozier. So I think there's more contrarian options at 6.8, 6.4. I think one of those two, or PJ Washington or Bridges, probably one of those guys has a pretty solid game. Now the concern is PJ Washington coming back. That kind of takes that hurts Miles Bridges' potential. That could take Hernan Gomez out of play, who I'm worried about. Maybe gets a DNP against a small ball Houston team. Marvin Williams probably gets less run. Maybe Cody Martin gets a few less minutes. So Charlotte is a team that I don't think really anyone stands out, but I definitely could see one of these main guys having a pretty good game. I think my favorite play would be Rozier at 6.4. He's been very up and down, but he is the guy I think has the most upside. We've seen 50 plus from him on a really good night. So Rozier would probably be the guy that I would target here on the Charlotte side if I was going to play anyone. As far as those expensive guys go, Cody Zeller 5.2. My concern is they just limit his minutes. Maybe go more PJ Washington at the 5, or maybe Marvin Williams gets run at the 5. I'm just worried because we know Houston's going to run a lot of small ball. So maybe they stick with Zeller and maybe just play him 25 minutes. If that's the case, I think he could really have a good game, but I just don't know. I'm worried about the minutes. The same argument for Hernan Gomez, right? He could just get crushed out there against that Houston small ball team. But also, if they stick with him and play him 20 minutes, he could have a really good game. So it's a risky target. I think he is in that tier of guys you can take shots on. I'm just worried that there's a chance maybe he even gets a DNP, right? So that's my concern there. Malik Monk, Cody Martin, those are guys we can take shots on for sure. Monk and Martin probably get low to mid 20s minutes. It's a really up-tempo game, so fine with those guys if you're going more stars and scrubs approach. Don't think I'd go Williams or anyone else here. So, yeah, all in all, Charlotte, not super, super excited about a lot. I think Rozier would probably be my favorite play there at 6.4. I think he's more of a contrarian option, though. Let's talk about Houston. So Houston, Harden's going to be the absolute chalk here at 12K. No Westbrook. He has huge upside. Again, I think if you're playing cash games, you play Harden and move on. I am not playing cash games, and I am going very risky, fading both Harden and Giannis. But yeah, Harden's upside is just through the roof. I would not be surprised if he puts up 80 plus in this spot. I guess there is a little bit of blowout risk. I think it's 14-point spread, but anytime Westbrook misses, Harden just has immense upside. He's going to shoot the ball a ton, going to play probably close to 40 minutes. So if you're playing cash games, you play Harden and move on. Even if you're playing GPPs, right? I'm just getting super, super risky on small slates. Even single entry GPPs, I think you probably play Harden. And then let's see, Eric Gordon, I do like a decent amount of 5.3. I think we probably get mid-30s minutes from him. He's going to be the number 2 in the offense. The downside is he is a little bit scoring dependent, but they're probably going to stagger his minutes with Harden, so he'll probably get about 10 or so minutes without Harden on the court. 5.3K, I think he makes for a really solid mid-tier play. House is a little bit too expensive at 5.1. I think I'd rather get to Gordon over Daniel House there. I just like the upside a little bit more on Gordon. PJ Tucker's a viable, cheap option. We know the deal with PJ Tucker, right? Know what you're getting into if you play him. There's a real chance he gets 10, 15 fantasy points playing 40 minutes. But there's also an off chance that he has a really solid night shooting threes in the corner and gets 35, 40 fantasy points. His upside does go up playing the center position, but not a whole lot. Rivers at 3.6, probably not for me. I think I'd prefer getting to McLemore in the starting lineup, who I think gets a little extra run. And then, so they're going to start Harden, Gordon, Tucker, House, and McLemore. Rivers is going to come off the bench. Cephalosha is going to come off the bench. He probably gets some decent backup center run. And then we got news that it's either going to be Clemens or Hartenstein in the rotation. If it's Hartenstein, I could see him getting there in like 15 or so minutes, but really, really risky, right? There's a decent chance he DNPs. So if you're making multiple lineups, maybe throw Hardenstein in one, just hope he gets in the rotation. But that's basically it. Again, Harden for cash games, play and move on. I think Gordon, my next favorite play. And then you can take a shot at like a Macklemore at almost min price at 3.4K. Portland, Denver, we got about 15 minutes to lock, so I'll try and hurry this up. Portland side, I think there's more contrarian plays, right? Lillard and Whiteside are definitely in play as spend-ups, but it's hard to prioritize those guys when we have Harden with no Westbrook, when we have Giannis against the Pelicans. Now, again, Lillard has been unbelievable, so I have no issue going to Lillard. I just think he's more of a contrarian play there, but his upside has been through the roof. Whiteside, same thing. I think he goes super, super low on, but if we get 35 or so minutes from Whiteside, he can definitely get like 50 plus at that price. CJ's a viable play in the mid-range, but I think I prefer the Pelicans guys. I think I prefer Middleton and Bledsoe in the mid-range compared to CJ. Melo, don't see myself getting to him. Ariza, don't see myself getting to him. I think that is basically it, though. Like Gary Trent at 3.3, don't think we have to do it. I think I prefer other value plays. So, yeah, that basically wraps it up for Portland. Let's talk about Denver. The big news is Murray and Jeremy Grant, both questionable. Let's talk about if they both miss. Jokic makes for a good contrarian spend up. I like Will Barton a good amount in the mid-range. He's going to have to do even more at 6.5K, so I think he's a really solid play if you're going more of that mid-tier approach. And then like Monte Morris probably gets decent, 30-plus minutes if Jamal Murray's out. I think we probably get more minutes from Torrey Craig at 3.3. He would be a viable punt option for sure. I think Hernan Gomez possibly starts if Jeremy Grant is out. He would become a really solid, cheap play. And then Malik Beasley. So it's tough because I have so much exposure in this first game where I'm probably not going to get this news until after lock, which sucks. But it could really open up a lot if Jeremy Grant and Jamal Murray out. Like I think Hernan Gomez, Beasley, and Torrey Craig would be three of the top value plays if Jamal Murray and Jeremy Grant can't go. So yeah, again, a little bit hard to break down. It sucks that this is an 8 o'clock game, but that's the way it goes sometimes. And then yeah, Jeremy Grant himself I think is okay, but the question mark tag worries me with him. Gary Harris, still, I don't think I would do it. Like I would just prefer the upside in Beasley. Who probably gets a little less run, but he's been more productive in that time. Again, it would be Beasley, Craig, Hernan Gomez would be the three guys I would like a good amount as value plays if Jamal Murray can't go and if Jeremy Grant can't go. But yeah, that basically wraps up. Again, Jokic contrarian spend up at 10K, but he still has immense upside. Going to play huge minutes, have to do a lot. I like Will Barton a good amount. If you're going more that mid-tier, I like him a good amount there at 6.5, especially if Jamal Murray can't go. Let's move on to the last game here, Spurs-Lakers. I think this game goes pretty low-owned. DeRozan at 7.7. I can't prioritize him when I like the Bucks, the mid-tier in the Bucks-Pelicans game way more. I like Barton more in the mid-range. Aldridge, I do have some interest here at 6.2. That is just a very, very tempting price tag. He's very up and down, but if the Spurs are going to stay in this one, it's probably because of a big game from Aldridge. So 6.2K, he is certainly someone I like in the mid-range. Again, if you're going more of that balanced approach. Murray, White, Mills, Forbes. If you guys watch my videos by now, you know it's so hard to predict which one's going to have a decent night. I think one of them will. One or two always has a pretty solid night, but trying to predict which one it is, it's super tough. It's a bad matchup. They're in that tier of guys you can take shots on for cheap options, but no one I can feel confident about. Well, Jakob Poeltl, if he starts, I would have a decent amount of interest in him. I think there's a chance they could start him against a big Lakers team. If he does start, I would like him a decent amount there as a value play. I think we probably get over 20 minutes from him if he starts. Gay at 3.6 is minutes were down. Can't do that. Lyles at 3.3. Lakers side, LeBron, more contrarian there, 10.1. Again, how can you prioritize him when we have Harden and Westbrook, when we have Giannis on the slate against the Pelicans as far as spend-ups go? Anthony Davis, I like a good amount at 9.3. If this game stays close, I think he could crush this salary. So I like him a good amount. Maybe if you're going more balanced, maybe you could go AD as like your highest price guy. But I do like Anthony Davis a good amount, especially if this game stays close. Again, the risk here is this game blows out and LeBron and AD only see 3/4 of action. As far as the cheap options go, don't think I get to Dwight. Rondo and Kuzma are viable. They've been very up and down. Rondo's minutes way up and down, but if he gets extended like 25 plus, I could definitely see him getting you there. Like KCP at 3.4, you got to hope he knocks down those threes. I think JaVale McGee is actually an okay value play here at 3.5. He's basically like a Vici Zubac, right? We're going to get about 15 to 20 minutes from him, but he is a guy that can get 20 plus, 25 plus on a good night. So I'm actually okay with JaVale McGee as a value play there. But, okay, I think that basically wraps it up. So let me give you guys my cash game core. Again, this is not going to be the way that I go. But, did we get news? Cody Martin is starting here. Okay, so let's see. Graham Rozier, is PJ Washington not playing then? This confuses me a little. PJ Washington available to play? Okay, I guess they're going to bring him off the bench. That confuses it a little bit, but they did start Dwayne Bacon last game, and he only played 18 minutes. Now, he didn't play good, but just thought I'd bring that up. So I don't think this necessarily means Cody Martin's going to play. Oh, that's the wrong Martin. Where's Cody Martin? I don't think this necessarily means Cody Martin's going to play huge minutes, but for a starter against Houston at 3.5K, I think he makes for a pretty solid value play right now. Again, the risk is we have PJ Washington back. That's another body in the rotation. You can never really trust the secondary rotation for Charlotte. The minutes are way up and down for everyone. We see guys enter the rotation, leave the rotation, start and play 10 minutes. So, yeah, I like Cody Martin if he plays 25 or so minutes, but I don't know if that's necessarily secure. But I do think him starting does make a pretty solid value play. But, all right, let's give you guys my cash game core. Again, this is not the way that I'm going tonight. I'm going mid-tier, but if I was playing cash games, right, I think you play Harden. 12K is expensive, but with no Russell Westbrook, I don't see myself getting away from him. I think, and then we get to the mid-tier here, right? In this Milwaukee-New Orleans game, there's so much to like here. I think Zion Williamson at 7.1K, probably my favorite play, but you can make an argument for any of those other guys. I like Lonzo a good amount too. 6.7K, he's too cheap. And then let's throw in, again, if those Denver guys are out, I would throw in one of those guys as a value play, but we're not going to know that right now. So as of right now, let's just throw, either Bledsoe or Middleton. If you go Giannis here, you're going to be like 3.2K remaining. That's going to make it really, really tough. So let's go with one of those Milwaukee guys. I'll go Bledsoe. You could go Middleton, but that leaves you 4.4K remaining. And then from here, you can take shots in those cheap guys. Again, if both Jeremy Grant and Jamal Murray are out, then I would really like Hernan Gomez, Craig, and Malik Beasley. I'd assume those guys get pretty good runs. So probably not going to get that news until later, but yeah, that's basically what I got here for if I was playing cash games. I think that makes for a pretty solid start, and then, you take your shots on your cheaper guys and kind of go from there. You could always do this way too. You could always go Harden and Giannis, and then from here, you're going to have to take shots on a lot of cheap guys, right? You got 4.4K remaining, but that's certainly viable as well. Again, you got a guy like Cody Martin starting, you got Ben McLemore starting, you have the potential Denver value, you got JaVale McGee at 3.5. There's a lot of guys you can take shot on, Connaughton. So let's get to it. Let's get to some questions. We got about 5 minutes to lock. McLemore or Connaughton? I think McLemore is probably the safer option because he's starting. We probably get 25 plus minutes from him, whereas Connaughton, not going to get as much run. But I think he's probably the higher usage guy. So that's a close one. I think I would give the edge to McLemore there. Can you run Gordon, McLemore, Harden, and Tucker in the same line? Yeah, I think you can because Houston's going to run in an 8-man rotation, right? Clemens or Hartenstein is going to get in there, one of those two guys, but I don't think they're going to play huge minutes. So I think the starters all play 33, 34 plus minutes. Cash core, yeah, so just went over that. Give us a balanced core. Let's see. Ball or Bledsoe? Ball or Bledsoe, it's close. Again, I'm in my mid-tier lineup, I'm playing both those guys. So I guess Lonzo because he's going to play more minutes, but I like both those guys. Is Harden, Giannis, and LeBron too much on FanDuel? Um, Probably. I don't think I would play LeBron. I think I'd play Harden, Giannis, and go from there. Rookie of the Year, Middleton. Gordon, DeJounte Murray, Bridges, Zeller, Lopez, or Tucker for cash, pick 2. I would probably go Eric Gordon and Miles Bridges there. Katie Logan stream for cash. Eric Gordon or Danuel House. I like the upside a little bit more with Gordon. Beasley or Martin. Again, that's kind of dependent on the Denver news. If Jamal Murray can't go and if Jeremy Grant can't go, I would definitely go Beasley. But we're probably not going to get that news until after lock. And we do have news that Cody Martin's starting. So I guess right now, go Cody Martin. But again, I would like the upside more with Beasley if both those guys are out. So it's a tricky question to answer. Martin or McLemore? That's tough too. Both guys are pretty similar. The price accordingly. I think both get around 25 or so. Give me Martin there, but I don't really feel great about it, right? I think it's just the pool of guys you can take shots on. I'm not like super, Cody Martin over McLemore, but I guess give me Martin there. Rivers or Gary Harris start straight up. Also Torrey Craig, Mets projection. Gosh, I guess Gary Harris because he's going to play more minutes. Those are also two very low usage guys. Torrey Craig minutes projection. Well, if both Jamal Murray and Jeremy Grant are out, I think we probably get 25 to 30 from Craig. Tucker or Kuzma. I think Kuzma has more upside. Tucker, maybe the cash game play. Kuzma is, where is he at? He's 4K. Right, we probably get over 20 minutes from him. I think he just has more upside than Tucker. Not going to play as many minutes. So I think if you're shooting for upside, go Kuzma. Running Drew, BI, LMA, Jokic, McLemore, Barton, Rivers for GPP. Hope Jeremy sits. Yeah, Martin or McLemore. Yeah, I think I go Martin. Not really super confident there. Everyone watch ads before you watch the streams. Thoughts on Favors? I think Favors is okay at 4.9. The issue is the minutes, right? He's probably not going to get more than 22, 23 minutes unless like Zion gets in foul trouble or something like that. Hart or DiVincenzo? I would go Hart there. I think he plays more minutes. JaVale or Howard? I think I would take the savings with JaVale McGee at 3.5K. Bledsoe, Holiday, McLemore, Giannis, McGee, Lonzo, Zion, DiVincenzo. I think that's a really solid lineup. This slate is so tricky. I'm not going to play cash. It is, right? And don't go big on these short slates. Like I never go... I kind of take it easy. I go a little bit riskier. But yeah, like I said, I'm going the mid-tier approach. I think if you guys watch the video, if you watch the live stream by now, you guys know who I like, right? A lot of the mid-tier in the Pelicans Bucks game. I like Barton. I like Aldridge. I like Eric Gordon. And then, yeah, those are the mid-tier guys I have a good amount of interest in. Let's see. Bledsoe and Ball or Ingram and Middleton. I mean, if you can get to Ingram and Middleton, probably go there. But, I mean, I like Lonzo and Ball a lot. Are people seriously playing PJ Tucker? This bum plays 37 minutes, gets 11 fantasy points. Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot of, like, standout value right now. Again, the Denver value would be the best value on the slate, in my opinion, if Jamal Murray and Jeremy Grant are out. So you could always make a lineup, bank on the fact that Jeremy Grant and Jamal Murray out, and then go from there, right? You can play Harden, Giannis, and then play like 3 of those really cheap guys, right? Malik Beasley, I think I would go him. He has big upside. I think Torrey Craig, I know he's pretty gross, but 3.3K, we'll probably see big minutes from him. And I think we probably get a good amount of run from Hernan Gomez if Jeremy Grant can't go, right? Jeremy Grant was playing huge minutes, like 35 plus. So those minutes have to go somewhere. Again, this is assuming Jamal Murray and Jeremy Grant are out. You could always make a lineup like that and then go from there and just hope that both those guys are out for Denver. And then you could probably fit one more stud in there if you want to, or like a couple of these mid-tier guys, right? So that's always approach too. Let's see. Rozier or CJ? I think I like the upside a little bit more with Rozier. Giannis lock. I mean, Giannis is going to be lower on than Harden for sure. Harden, Rivers, Gordon, Ingram, Favors, Graham, Hernan Gomez, Denver, Middleton. Okay, that's fine. Gordon or House, I would go Gordon there. It's close, but I like the upside a little bit more with Eric Gordon. Tucker and Rubio are permanent fades. DeRozan, White, or LBJ, Lonnie Walker. Yeah, I'll probably go LBJ, Lonnie Walker. I guess I didn't really talk about Lonnie Walker, but he's been getting, about 15 or so minutes, I think. Where is he? Lonnie Walker, where are you? He's 3.2, 15 to 20. Sure, right? I don't really feel good about that, but I would rather get to LeBron over DeRozan there. But the same every day, you will end up ahead, promise. Tucker will burn people. I mean, I think there's a decent chance he will, but once, about 20% of the time, we get an upside game from Tucker. We get about 35 plus from him. So there's a chance if he knocks down those corner threes, we could. Good luck, DK. Gordon, Bridges, or House or Cash. Probably Eric Gordon there. PJ Tucker's a great defensive player, which doesn't translate to fantasy. Let's see. For the Lakers-Spurs single game, who do you like for MVP? Bron, DeRozan, Aldridge, or Davis? I would probably go Anthony Davis there if I was playing single game showdown. Appreciate the help. Good luck tonight. Yeah, of course, man. Good luck. Rondo or Derek White? It's probably Derek White for cash because Rondo's minutes are so up and down. But I think Rondo has more upside. So if you're shooting for more upside, maybe go Rondo and just hope he gets some minutes. Lillard, Harden, Martin, Ingram, Aldridge, Beasley, McMore, and Monk. Yeah, I'm okay. That's pretty contrarian. Lillard is going to be pretty low owned, but you can't argue what he's been doing. Middleton outscores Ingram and Zion. Would not be surprised. I am playing. I just have everyone in that game, really. But yeah, let's go over some ownership here. Both Rivers and Martin. Sure. I mean, if you're going really stars and scrubs, I don't hate it. Again, I think the Denver value would be the best value though if we get that news. But we already have one game locked, and we're probably not going to get that. What's your lineup? So I'll tell you the guys who I have in right now. I have, looking at the $40 single entry, I got Bledsoe at 10%. I got Drew at 16%. I have Middleton at 17%, Zion at 35%, and Lonzo Ball at 14%. Yeah, again, I went really, really contrarian in the slate, but let's take a look at some other ownership. Connaughton 7%, Wes Matthews 2%, Josh Hart 8%. Giannis 31%, right? So I said 30% Giannis. Pretty close there. But yeah, I really think Harden probably gets to close to 80%. I really think Harden is going to be really, really expensive. Let's see. I want Alonzo, Harden, Middleton, BI. Good luck, DK. Yeah, good luck, man. From there, you're going to have to take some shots, some cheat guys, but I like that core for sure. Giannis, 26%. Bucks are a good combo versus guards. Got Lonzo, 13, Giannis, 26, Zion, 34, and Bledsoe, 11. Yeah, I mean, those numbers right now are telling me Harden is going to be really, really high owned, right? Because we have a 30% owned Giannis, and not a lot there in the mid. I thought the Pelicans guys would be a little bit higher owned. Doesn't look like they are. So that leads me to believe Harden is going to be the absolute chalk that people are spending up on. Again, if I was playing for safety, I would play Harden. Let's see. Besides the four studs in that Lakers-Spurs game, who else do you like? JaVale McGee at that price. I think Jakob Poeltl, if he starts, I think those two would probably be my favorite value plays. Thanks for everything, man. Yeah, of course. But, yeah, I think that's basically it. Again, guys, I really think that the Denver value is probably the best if those two guys get rolled out. So if you're playing the late slate, right, there's probably going to be a two-game late slate, which I am going to play. And if those two guys are out, I probably play Beasley, Hernan Gomez, and Craig, and then just go stars and scrubs, probably jamming Jokic and Lillard or Whiteside or LeBron, AD, right? That's probably my build for that late slate if those Denver guys are out. Thanks for everything. Oh, yeah. Who should I go for the night slates? Yes. Kind of just went over that, right? If those Denver guys are out, play those three value guys. Probably try to get Jokic, maybe one of Lillard or Whiteside, and then probably one of either AD or LeBron, and go stars and scrubs. That's probably the way I would go about it. So I fade Bron and run Davis, Aldridge, DeRozan. Yeah, I like that. I think if I was going to fade either LeBron or AD, it would be LeBron. Thanks so much for all support. If you guys are interested in NBA video, again, I'll have that video up for Wednesday slate later tonight. Be on the lookout for that. But yeah, hope you guys all have a good night. Hopefully win some money. And just subscribe. Great follow on Twitter, by the way. Very transparent. Appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. But yeah, hope you guys have a good night. Hope you win some money, and I will see you all tomorrow.